If it's one thing Republicans hate, it's reality. And reality seems to have caught up with them in a recent poll from Rasmussen. Now, Rasmussen, anybody who's familiar with Rasmussen knows that they're a conservative polling organization. They actually oversample Republicans, which is interesting because in a recent poll, they asked about Joe Biden's job approval. Turns out he's got some pretty big job approval numbers, even from Rasmussen. In fact, his job approval ratings went to 55%. Even with the heavy weighting by conservatives, he still did way better than Donald Trump. And in other polls, by the way, Biden's actually done better. In a recent Harvard Caps Harris poll, 62% of respondents said that they either strongly or somewhat approve of the job that Biden is doing in the White House, with only 38% disapprove. Now, one of the main reasons, of course, is how he handled COVID. And by the way, that's ironically, that's one of the reasons that Donald Trump lost the election is because of his handling of COVID. 70% of Americans say they like the job that he's done so far in order to rein in the outbreak. He also performs well among voters when it comes to the economy and stimulating jobs, getting 62% approval on each of those. 61% said that they approve on how Biden is administrating government. Now, Biden gets bad reviews on immigration, although 53% still say that they approve on how he's handling the matter. Compare that with Trump in 2017 overall, who never broke 50%, actually got about 45%. And so now, as a progressive, as a leftist, I don't give Biden good marks. But that's to be expected, honestly. I mean, for example, on healthcare, he's not doing a public option. I think a single payer system, that's what we need to go to. But he's not even doing the public option. He completely abandoned that. Not only that, but there was the promise of the $2,000 stimulus. Didn't happen. Didn't get a recurring stimulus at the end of the pandemic. And not only that, we still got kids in cages. We got the Israeli thing, backing Israel 100% when they're the aggressor, and, caused the deaths of hundreds of Palestinian children. You also have, all that other stuff. Prescription drug prices, that's a layup. Canceling student loan debt, total layup. He can do that today, unilaterally, and he hasn't done that. But again, as a progressive, I have a higher standard, and I actually expect, stuff to be done out of our supposed leaders. But that's just me. Understand that I'm going to be much, much harder on Joe Biden than I would be on anybody else. So, or whoever our Democratic leadership is, so-called leadership. All right. I think we can and should do a lot more for the people, especially when it comes to, as I mentioned, healthcare, prescription drugs, all that stuff. But understand that my criticisms are in good faith, and they're based on policy positions. And that's really different than the criticisms from the right wing of Joe Biden. All right. Now, they usually involve Biden being far cooler than he actually is, or are so deeply unhinged that you can't take them seriously. For example, they think that he's a leftist. Oh, you're communist socialist. Are you kidding me? What about Joe Biden is leftist? Not a leftist at all. That's ridiculous. They also say insane things like dictator. Oh, he's a pedophile. He's cognitively impaired. All that stuff. I don't think Biden's as sharp as he used to be. And I definitely think he's a little too handsy. And then, of course, there's allegations from Tara Reid. And so there are some significant issues there. But, again, when you compare that criticism from the far right, they're unhinged. Completely unhinged. Devoid of facts. All right? And yet, despite everything, right, most of the country thinks he's doing an all right job. Now, again, I think that I'm a lot harder. Apparently, we're a lot, as progressives, a lot harder on the Biden administration because we expect them to do better. But most of the country seems to be like, hey, he's doing all right. It polls. What are you going to do? Now, this poll has MAGA raging. In fact, here's some responses to that. One person says, so basically, According to your poll, Joe Biden is more popular right now than Donald Trump ever was? I mean, that's certainly possible, I suppose. But don't those results strike you as just a bit strange? No, not really. I mean, not when you look at that. Generally, Democrats tend to poll better than Republicans. I mean, we saw it with George W. Bush. Before Trump, he was the most on. No, he was actually less popular when he left office than Donald Trump. Again, we were in the middle of the recession. That's kind of why you don't vote for Republicans. One of the reasons, one of many. And then, of course, you compare that with Obama, who had pretty good approval ratings. Again, as progressives, we're incredibly hard on them, as we should be. And now, same thing. Donald Trump, incredibly low approval ratings, very not popular at all. And then you go to Biden, which is actually statistically more popular. So no, it's not a surprise when you look at facts and objective reality. But see, the right wing, they live in a bubble. They really do live in the bubble. And in that bubble, Trump is the cult leader that everybody idolizes. They love this guy. It's some weird, in this case, celebrity worship shit. And it's really, really weird. And a good example of that, by the way, is the next couple of comments. One says, more fake news. Another one says, who are you calling? I don't know anybody that approves of that fake crook who's illegitimate. And that's just one of many examples. They don't even realize it. They don't even realize reality. Completely different universe. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.